In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful, hello everyone, and welcome to this edition of Iranian English News with me, Nima Shitzaz. Iranian lawmakers have overwhelmingly voted to elect ex-Tehran Mayor Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf as the Speaker of the country's newly inaugurated parliament, or the Majlis. During an open parliamentary session on Thursday, Ghalibaf garnered 230 votes from a total of 267 cast by his fellow legislators to take the helm of Iran's 11th parliament. Amir Hossein Ghazizadeh Hashemi and Ali Nikzad were also elected as the first and second deputy parliament speakers. The new parliament speaker is replacing Ali Larijani, who served the post from 2008 until May this year. The new lawmakers were sworn into office during an inauguration ceremony on Wednesday. In a message to the new legislature, the leader of the Islamic Revolution, Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei, highlighted culture and economy as the country's most pressing issues, which required the legislature's highest level of attention. Following Ghalibaf's election as the Speaker, Iranian President Hassan Rouhani, Judiciary Chief Ebrahim Raisi, Head of the Expediency Council Ayatollah Ali Larijani, Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council Ali Shamkhani, Head of the Islamic Republic of Iran Broadcasting Ali Askari, Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif, Chief of Staff of Iranian Armed Forces Mohammad Bagheri, as well as the commanders of Iranian Islamic Revolution Guard Corps and Army, as well as many other political and military figures, congratulated Ghalibaf and wished him good luck on the job. Leader of the Islamic Revolution, Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei, in a decree on Thursday, appointed former Iranian Parliament Speaker Ali Larijani as his advisor and also a member of the country's Expediency Council. In the decree, Ayatollah Khamenei hailed Larijani's useful experience and efforts during his vital responsibility as the Speaker of the Parliament for 3 consecutive terms, and appointed him as the leader's advisor as well as a member of the Expediency Council. President Hassan Rouhani hailed the considerable progress in the country's scientific field, saying, along with the world, the Islamic Republic's traditional economy is changing to digital economy. Speaking at the unveiling ceremony of infrastructural projects of the Information and Communication Technology Ministry on Thursday, President Rouhani referred to the importance of Internet in providing people with services in such areas as agriculture and health, adding, in digital economy sphere, the use of cyberspace and the Internet to provide job services is faster, more accurate, and less expensive, and this model is more reliable. He noted people realized the importance of IT developments amid the challenges created by a coronavirus outbreak, and many tasks and services have been provided using IT and cyberspace. The President also underlined the role of IT in political affairs, such as election campaigns, informing people, and people's participation in elections, adding, transparency and fighting corruption are important issues that could be addressed through virtual space rather than through traditional mechanisms. Meantime, in a meeting with the Specialized Committee of the National Headquarters for the Fight Against the Coronavirus, President Rouhani said, everybody should get prepared for coexistence with coronavirus. The President said a new lifestyle has to be introduced for a persistent fight against the COVID-19. He said the disease should not inflict persistent damages to the people's living conditions. President Rouhani added, by observing the health protocols, the imposed restrictions are not only expected to be gradually lifted, but also people can go back to the natural path of their life. He stressed the need for preparing the people for a normal life and battle against the coronavirus at the same time. He said, people should know that economic boom and return to a clear economic condition is fully connected with observing health protocols. The President noted that as long as a vaccine is not found for the COVID-19, the people should vaccinate themselves against the disease by observing health protocols. The head of Iran's Health Ministry Public Relations Office said on Thursday that 112,988 people out of a total of 143,849 infected with the coronavirus have survived and recovered, while a total of 7,627 people have unfortunately lost their lives. Colonel Jahanpur said 63 more Iranians died from coronavirus over the past 24 hours. Jahanpur added 2,258 new infected cases have been detected in the country since Wednesday. The Iranian naval forces have received more than 100 missile-launching speedboats designed and manufactured by experts at home, and what will boost the Islamic Republic's offensive power in the strategic Persian Gulf waters. During a ceremony on Thursday, 112 new generation offensive speedboats of different classes were unveiled and delivered to the naval forces of Iran's Islamic Revolution Guard Corps, the IRGC. Enjoying hydrodynamic functional features, the boats are capable of sailing at a high speed with a low radar cross-section and a high level of offensive power. The event was attended by several high-ranking military officials, including Chief IRGC Commander Major General Hossein Salami, IRGC Navy Commander Rear Admiral Alireza Tangsiri, and Defense Minister Brigadier General Amir Hatami. Meantime, addressing the ceremony, Major General Hossein Salami hailed Iran's significant progress in the defense sector. The IRGC commander said, "A key portion of Iran's maritime powers is still unknown to others." Iran's defense minister also addressed the event, highlighting the significance of maintaining security in the Persian Gulf and the strategic Strait of Hormuz. Brigadier General Amir Hatami said, "By manufacturing the high-speed boats and delivering them to the IRGC Navy, the security belt of the Persian Gulf, and specifically the vital Strait of Hormuz, will be strengthened." The fourth tanker of a five-vessel Iranian flotilla carrying much-needed gasoline to Venezuela has entered the Caribbean, approaching its fuel-starved final destination. The tanker Faxon is to be escorted by the Venezuelan armed forces en route to its destination. The five-tanker Iranian-flagged flotilla is carrying up to 1.5 million barrels of gasoline and components to help the country ease an acute scarcity that has forced Venezuelans to wait for hours in lines at gas stations. As the Iranian tankers deliver their cargoes one by one, the Venezuelan government has started preparations to distribute the imported fuel among desperate citizens stranded in long gas station queues. The shipments have stirred the wrath of Washington, as both Iran and Venezuela are under illegal sanctions imposed by the White House. Protests have turned violent in the U.S. cities of Minneapolis and Los Angeles over brutal killing of an unarmed African-American man at the hands of a white police officer in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Early morning scenes from Minneapolis showed smoke and fires rising from properties and vehicles destroyed overnight amid demonstrations over the death of a black man in U.S. police custody. Protesters clashed with riot police, firing tear gas for a second night in Minneapolis on Wednesday, and an outpouring of rage over the death of George Floyd, 46, seen in a widely circulated video gasping for breath as a white officer knelt on his neck. The video taken by an onlooker showed Floyd lying face down and handcuffed, groaning for help and repeatedly saying, "Please, I can't breathe," before growing motionless. The second day of demonstrations, accompanied by looting and vandalism, began hours after Mayor Jacob Ferry urged prosecutors to file criminal charges against the white policeman. The FBI has also opened an investigation. Thousands of protesters thronged streets late on Wednesday, chanting "No justice, no peace," and "I can't breathe." The protest turned into a standoff. Elsewhere, protesters in downtown Los Angeles temporarily blocked Highway 101 and burned a U.S. flag during a demonstration on Wednesday over the death of Floyd. Protesters gathered in front of the Los Angeles County District Attorney's office, chanting and holding signs. The protests, which led to the arrest of demonstrators, turned violent at some points as some demonstrators smashed the windows of two police highway patrol cruisers. The development follows as Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman in a message on Thursday referred to brutal killing of a black man by the U.S. police, saying the U.S. administration even glorifies systematic racism and white supremacism. Mousavi wrote in a message that brutal killing of George Floyd by a Minneapolis white man in uniform in cold blood as a harrowing demonstration of systematic racism and white supremacism glorified by the current administration. Boeing Company says it is eliminating more than 12,000 U.S. jobs as the largest American plane maker restructures in the face of the coronavirus pandemic. Boeing also disclosed it plans several thousand remaining layoffs in coming months, but did not say where those would take place. Boeing is slashing costs as a sharp drop in airplane demand during the pandemic worsened a crisis for the company whose 737 MAX jet was grounded last year after a second fatal crash. Chief Executive Dave Calhoun told employees in an email, "The pandemic's devastating impact on the airline industry means a deep cut in the number of commercial jets and services our customers will need over the next few years, which in turn means fewer jobs on our lines and in our offices. I wish there was some other way." This comes as Japanese car maker Nissan will shut down its factory in Barcelona, Spain, which will result in more than 3,000 workers losing their jobs. The Spanish government said the decision, which was made as part of a worldwide restructuring plan, came despite efforts to keep the plant open. The closure might also indirectly affect nearly 25,000 jobs. The move will come as a further blow to Spain, whose national unemployment rate is already increasing, with a steep recession looming due to the coronavirus pandemic. China has rejected attempts by the United States to have the United Nations Security Council hold a meeting over Beijing's proposed national security law for Hong Kong, emphasizing that the issue is an internal matter. During a Security Council meeting on Wednesday, the U.S. and China traded barbs over the imposition of the law on the semi-autonomous Chinese city. China's ambassador to the UN, Zhang Zhu, said later on Twitter that China categorically rejects the baseless request because the national security legislation for Hong Kong was an internal matter and has nothing to do with the mandate of the Security Council. The U.S. bid to put the Hong Kong issue on the Security Council's agenda came after China introduced a national security law on Hong Kong as part of measures aimed at restoring calm to the city after 7 months of violent anti-government protests last year. The U.S. mission to the UN claimed in a statement that the introduction of the law was a matter of urgent global concern that implicates international peace and security, arguing in favor of a Security Council meeting. In response, China's ambassador to the UN accused the United States of being the troublemaker of the world, urging Washington to stop its bullying actions across the world. And that's a wrap for now. Join us tomorrow at the same time, same place with the latest updates. Till then, take care and have a very great time. Goodbye now.